My name is ALIFF, and for the Chapter 1 Introduction, for background of the study, UITM as the largest public university in Malaysia, include 14 branches all over Malaysia, offering 124 degree programs from 70 different faculty, but in Puncak Alam, specifically offering 8 faculties such as Pharmacy, Business and Management, Science Health, Hotel and Tourism Management, Accountancy, Art and Design, Education and Architecture. With the total number of 50,000 students, the campus was completed in 2009, designed as a smart campus. The campus has a modern environment suitable for carrying out teaching, learning and research activity. So next, for the UITM mission. UITM mission is to enhance the knowledge and expertise of Bumiputra in all fields of study through professional program, research work and community service based on moral value and professional ethics. And for UITM vision, to establish UITM as a premier university of outstanding scholarship and academic excellence, and also capable of providing leadership to all Bumiputra in dynamic involvement in all professional fields of world-class standard in order to produce globally competitive graduates of sound ethical standing. And UITM goes through research studies, professional program and community service that line up with the professional ethic and moral values, is to build up the apprehension and proficiency of Bumiputra in all areas of study. Let's move on to the problem statement. Moral behavior issues are often associated with a person's negative action that can give a bad effect to themselves or people around them. So the common age of 20 until 25 years old group students were usually more erratic than other age groupings. This group of irregular students look higher in the core campus of education, science, architecture and management. The majority of the participants stated that university-related factors are the primary cause of their inconsistent attendance. And move on to the research objective. The objective of the study are first to describe and assess the level of moral behavior among UITM Puncak Alam students, and to identify the differences between resident and non-resident students of UITM Puncak Alam in terms of moral behavior. And for the research question, the research question of this study are: first, what is the level of moral behavior of UITM Puncak Alam student? And second, what are the significant differences between resident and non-resident student in terms of moral behavior? And for significance of research, this study serves to identify the moral behavior among resident and non-resident student in University Teknologi Mara UITM Puncak Alam by the place of their residential. It was an appropriate or sizable population to conduct this study for the college student. Therefore, it is important to understand the challenge that they are facing and the factor that influence their problem when staying at different places, either in the campus or outside the campus. Many students struggle with moral conduct, and this study is critical in giving the knowledge necessary to assist them in overcoming this difficulty. So this discovery will lead to suggestion for how students might be less burdened in their current residence place. It also aids in identifying the issue that they face and assist them in overcoming them.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad AZRAEN bin Muhammad ZULKEFLI. So now I am going to present about Chapter 2, Literature Review. In our research, the independent variable is resident and non-resident student, while our dependent variable is moral behaviors. Based on the review of literature of moral behavior refers to one's action which can lead to good or bad effects on their surrounding, followed by the situation. Based on this statement, we found out that three best definitions were provided by the man Res, Ngozi Uzoka Ngochi Njoku, and Head and Kasabir. The interpretation of moral behavior by Res, he stated that the moral judgment is a modification of one's way of thinking, broadening one's horizon to accommodate assessment criteria that were previously unstudied. The surrounding conditions greatly affect the student's behavior because at the age of learning, students are easy to follow with peers, and also the influence of the surroundings can have an impact on the student's behavior. Following is the Uzoka and Ugochi Njoku in their journal article Environmental Factors Influencing the Moral Behavior. They stated that moral behavior focuses on the student's ability to differentiate between good and bad as they grow in their different cultural settings. From infancy to childhood to adolescence and adulthood, the way and manner a child interacts with people in the environment shows the level of moral development he has achieved. These include honesty, respect for oneself and others, tolerance, and self-control. Moral behavior focuses on the child's ability to differentiate between good and bad as they grow in their different cultural settings. Moral judgment depends on the level of cognitive behavior because as the level of cognitive abilities increase, the understanding and judgment of principles of morality also increases. Besides, the last of best definition of moral behavior comes from Head and Kasabir. They stated that morality indicates what is the right and wrong way to behave. For instance, one should be fair and not unfair to others. This is considered of interest to explain the social behavior of individuals living together in groups. Result from animal studies or insight into universal justice principles does not necessarily help us to address moral behavior in these modern societies. This also requires the reconciliation of people who endorse different political orientations or adhere to different religions. The observation that good people also can do bad things further suggests that we should look beyond the causes of individual deviance or delinquency to understand moral behavior. For the next part is the relationship between place of residence and integrity. It is proven that the environment is really connected with one's moral progress in human personality, other people, and people in general. Based on the finding analysis, it shows that the level of negative moral behaviors for the non-resident student is high. This is because students had to face the challenges that they staying off campus where they have immoral behaviors and no interactions with neighbors in terms of student social activities. The students' living condition is also distracted by limited space to do an assignment or homework and noises from the surrounding of their place of residence. Apart from that, the Arajo and Mare found that the benefits of staying on campus likely to boost student performance in a study they conducted. The findings show that being on campus can help students improve their academic performance during their academic year. Thompson et al. Discovered in their study that new students who live on campus are more advanced in their academics and have greater educational outcomes. Tan and So, Biel, and Yang et al. Advocated that for a more progressive approach to putting students in different real-world environments or moral considerations in which they must make moral judgment, justify for their choices, and reflect on their experiences. Elements of an environment that maximizes the integrity of the student indirectly and academic achievement consists of a peer tradition in which college students foster close friendship on campus, participate regularly in university sub-research activities, and understand their university cares about them personally in addition to an emphasis on inclusive adjacent offers, provide advice, orientation, and improve teaching survival skills.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is HAYATUN SYAHIRAH binti MOHAMMAD SANI, and I will present about research methodology chapter 3. So for this chapter, I will present about research design, sampling technique and sample size, for data collection and also for data analysis. For research design, the purpose of this study is descriptive as it is investigate the relationship between different places of living in terms of moral behavior issues that students experience. And then the data is from participants and a single point in time evaluation for a specific sample. And also for the interference for this research is also minimal. For the type of investigation, we use clarification to describe research concern. And next, we use cross-sectional research, the time horizon, because research is conducted over a set of period. And then we also use a non-contrived research setting for a natural setting that give organically environment flows. For population and sampling technique, students from all faculties at UITM Puncak Alam were chosen to participate in this study. So we use non-probability sampling technique because it is also known as convenient sampling. It's very easy for the student to access the data. And then for the sample size, students from semester 1 until semester 8, that includes 8 different faculties at UITM Puncak Alam. We also use G-Power software and F-test. Also, the survey is given online due to COVID-19 pandemic. For the data collection, the data for this research was distributed to all students of UITM Puncak Alam from all faculties. And then the questionnaires were created by using Google Form and will be distributed via social media such as Instagram, Facebook and WhatsApp. And we also need to distribute at least 180 questionnaires to possibly get 114 responses according to previous research sample size. And thus, for the calculation, we need at least 23 respondents from each faculty at UITM Puncak Alam. And for the last one, data analysis, 3 phases. First one is data cleaning. Data cleaning is used to improving inaccurate records from a record set during data screening for the first time to form a well-organized and neat data for accurate analysis. And then next, we will use determination of goodness fit of data. There are 2 types of tests, which are normality test and reliability test to confirming that all data that we have received are dependable and relevant. And then the last one, we will use descriptive analysis. For descriptive analysis, it is actually to summarize, simplify and highlight the patterns of all the data.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SITI NORAISHAH binti Muhammad ZAMZURI. I will present the chapter 4 about the analysis and results. This chapter will discuss about the 3 methods of analysis conducted to answer the research objective. First phase is about the determination of missing data and outliers. With referring to the table of missing data, this research has no missing data as 147 respondents managed to answer all the questions provided. And with referring to the table of outliers, this research also has no outliers since the maximum and minimum scale of gender, faculty, students residency, household income, CGPA and questions answered are still in the right range scale. Second phase is the determination of goodness fit of data and measure. The first table is the normality test. The mean is 1.5362 and median is 1.5455. Both of it have a similar value. The squeakiness is 0.413 and kurtosis is 0.553. This indicates that this normality test is normal because the squeakiness and kurtosis are close to 0. The second table is for the reliability test. Crunchbite alpha is 0.674, which is poor but acceptable and considered reliable. None of items are deleted, so all items are used to compute the variable. Third phase is answering the research objective. In this phase, we need to describe the profile of respondents for the gender, type of faculty, students' residency, household income, and CGPA. The total number of respondents in this research is 147. First pie chart is gender. Majority of the respondents are female, which is 69%. Second is type of faculty. Majority is 39% respondents are from the Faculty of Business and Management. Third is students' residency. Majority of the respondents are from the non-residents, 60%. Fourth is household income. Majority of respondents is 55% are from the range of less than 5,000 ringgit Malaysia. Lastly is CGPA. Majority of the students is 53% at the range of 3 to 3.49. Research objective 1 is to describe the moral behaviour among UITM Puncak Alam students. First, we need to assess the level of moral behaviour among UITM Puncak Alam students from the scale of 1 to 4. The mean is 1.5362, which indicate that the range scale is below 1.74. We can conclude that the level of negative moral behaviour of UITM students Puncak Alam is low. Second, classify students by different level of moral behaviour and describe the percentage. Based on the bar chart, there are 3 categories included, which are high, moderate, and low. Students UITM Puncak Alam have a low level of negative moral behaviour because the percentage in the bar chart show 78.23% for the low, 21.09% for the moderate, and 0.68% for the high. Research objective 2 is to identify the difference between students' residency in UITM Puncak Alam in terms of moral behaviour. This is the table for the ANOVA. It shows the p-value is 0.336 greater than the significant value 0.05. So, students' residency has no significant difference with the moral behaviour of students UITM Puncak Alam. The F value 0.931 is less than 1, which indicate that it was poor independent variable to predict the dependent variable.
I will share about our recommendation based on the research that had been done in order to serve perspective of the involved party in this research, which is UITM Puncak Alam students. We would like to recommend and suggest some solutions to UITM in order to resolve the issue that students are experiencing can be secured. Firstly, the administration of UITM needs to implement programs or activities for the students. For example, providing an arena for disseminating the updated information about cheating written and verbal to both lecturers and students, such as electronic means and providing training and courses in academic integrity issues to make students feel that they can succeed without having to resort to dishonesty. Secondly, come out with a detailed mechanism. For example, holding dialogues within and among various departments of the academic institution so that lecturers obtain a clear picture of what constitutes academic cheating. Consequently, faculty, in cooperation with management, should play active roles in fighting cheating, not only among students but at all levels. As for the third recommendation, is the students need to be aware of severity of cheating by keep reminding themselves about the risk that they will get if caught cheating. They must be aware that cheating during examination is considered an unethical and immoral behavior that can be punished. Disciplinary actions such as course failure, suspension, or even academic expulsion can become the consequences of cheating acts. This will damage students' reputation and integrity. Then, students need to increase their confidence level and knowledge. So, each student must carefully revise their current learning strategies to fully understand their own study notes. Students should try and improvise their own learning techniques. Each individual has their own suitable and the best technique to practice regularly. Not only that, different subjects require specific method to make study notes. We also come up with 2 recommendations for the future, such as UITM need to take a solution to this problem with stated faults in this way of learning and be more thorough in researching the work of each student. This can be a serious problem when it comes to the learning process that affects the student's behavior to be not guilty about the outcome when copying other students' work. Then, lay down conditions for each work done by the students. It is mandatory to update plagiarism first before submitting their respective work, whether individual or group work. This is to make sure the data obtained as a result of the students themselves and not from other sources that were copied by the student in their assignments. As a conclusion, based on our research objective, which is to identify the problems with moral behavior faced by students, there are significant differences in the students' behavior that are caused by the attitude problems, lecture problems, and environment problems. People around that are involved are very important in playing a role to shape good moral behavior among students. Additionally, we also managed to assess the level problems faced by students, which at the different levels respond to each problem. There are also no significant differences between moral behavior of the students depending on their place of residence. And lastly, we get the results of the difference between place of residence in terms of the problems experienced by students, whereas the non-resident students are more likely to experience the negative moral behavior. Same with the students that stay inside the campus. With this, leading us to give some recommendations to a UITM for an improvement regarding the behavior issue during the learning process, and also should emphasize the importance of learning in a systematic and orderly manner, even if the backgrounds of the students differ, terms of resident, and so on. By the way, increasing the number of programs that attract non-resident students and provide a balanced welfare of resident students to them. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.